Hi everybody, this is Christine Bertram, and I'm coming to you live from the Hive here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Tonight is Thursday night, Stampin' Fun with me. We're going to be making the monthly cards for the month of August. It's crazy, but we are in August, and I was just thinking to myself, August, so that leaves September, October, November, December. That means that there's 4 monthly classes left for the year, and that just blows my mind. So, oh my goodness. The time just flies when you're having fun, right, Holly? I love it. So let's see if I can get me up on my phone so that I can watch along with us. So I made sure to switch my internet to be on the Hive, and I normally see that it pops up right away, but I didn't see it pop up. So there it is. I can tell what shirt I'm wearing. So, oh my goodness. It has been a week. I'll tell you guys, it was a good week. Hi, Mary Carls from Jericho. Woohoo! Hi, Randy from Southwest Michigan. We had a fabulous weekend in the Hive this past weekend. I had the Summer Creative Escape here, and it was a total of 60 people that registered. And I did not have all 60 people here at my house at one time. I promise you, I could not handle that. But hi, Donna. I had it broken up very nicely. There were about 15 people that did the online version. Hi, Debbie Schultz. Hi, Angela. 15 people for Friday, 15 Saturday, 15 Sunday. So it really was broken up very nicely. Hi, Julie Bierschbach. And we had a blast. It just filled my heart to be among friends and stampers. Hi, Kathy King. Hi, Kelly Lamb. Hi, Brenda Wood. And we had a blast. It was just awesome. So many people said to me afterwards that is just what they needed. Hi, Melanie Foy. They needed to be among like-minded, crazy stampers, having fun, and just creating, and just having fun. Hi, Jean Benson from Green Lake Campground. Hi, Ann Bellinger. There's Julie. Hi, Karen. And it was awesome. So much. Hi, Patricia. And Patricia said the weekend was the best. And Patricia was joining me via online. And we tried to include the online people in as much of the festivities as possible. Hi, Penny. Hi, Jean Maxwell. Hi, Sonia. We tried to go. Oh yeah. And so Melanie said we're at the trip. She came up from Yuma, Arizona. Hi, Susie Snow. So it's a demonstrator-only event, and I put my heart and soul into this event just to give so much inspiration and ideas, and just to get people into the next catalog and keep them going. Hi, Loretta. And it was just that. Hi, Sandy. And so we tried to include as much Facebook Lives as possible to this private group of everybody who signed up, and it was good. All the goodie boxes went in the mail. My mom dropped them off at the post office yesterday. So all the girls that were getting the goodie boxes, you guys eat your cookies right away. My mom made homemade cookies, and we put 2 of them in a little treat box, and they're in a Ziploc bag. So there's a lot of love and butter in them. So you guys, when you get them, eat them right away. And my mom makes the best cookies in the world. And I can say that because she's my mom, and I can't really say the world, but they're so good. Hi, Sharon. So everybody, thank you for sharing the video as it pops in. I really appreciate you guys sharing and liking and commenting. That's so awesome. We are just growing our awesome community of stampers, and I appreciate that so much, you guys. So the Summer Creative Escape was so good. And instead of doing the Winter Creative Escape at a hotel like I've done the last 2 years, everybody pretty much said they'd go anywhere. Hi, Chris, from Iowa. Everybody said they'd pretty much go anywhere, but everybody preferred to have it here in the Hive. There's just something special about having it here that they loved. And oh, good, Melanie, I'm glad you shared your cookies with your mom. It was so sweet. She came and tried to pick you up. Hi, Diane. And the Winter Creative Escape is going to be along the same lines as the Summer Creative Escape was. There'll be a private Facebook group. It'll be open only to demonstrators who are active, and you can be on anybody's team, not just my team. And I think I was I think about half the people that did this event were actually on my team, which was I was super ecstatic about. It wasn't quite half, but just slightly under half. But all you have to be is a demonstrator or a discount shopper. It's the same thing. Just as long as you're signed up with Stampin' Up, you are welcome to attend the event. Hi, Amy from California. Hi, Roxanne. And so I will be sharing more details about that as I start the planning stages for it. So awesome. So Stampin' Up made some changes to host codes, and we were just notified about it on Tuesday. So I wanted to make sure everybody heard this, and I'll include it in my newsletter as well. Hi, Bonnie from Michigan. Woohoo! So one of the ways that when you guys can do a class with me is you can pay for it or you can get it free with the minimum order. Hi, Philly. And any class that is that way, so it's fee-based or product-based, meaning you can buy whatever product you want to get it for free. So it's always my monthly class, my bundle class, sometimes like the catalog launch party class that's tomorrow, that way. If you place an order and you use, and you don't remember to use the host code, it doesn't qualify you to get the class for free. The requirement is the minimum amount and using the host code. And I've been able to help people out by calling Stampin' Up to get that host code added. And Stampin' Up is really great about it. They just do it. Not a lot of companies add orders to workshops or parties when people forget to place that host code order. Hi, Jeannie Parker. So just so you guys know, they are limiting us. Now, I don't know. I think they're limiting us to 10. We can only call and have 10 host codes added to orders that have been forgotten to have host codes added. I say that I do that and then some in a month. And so, you guys, I really have to be, I really need you guys to put the host codes on before you submit your order. If you need help, you can always reach out to me and I can help you. The host code's always found on my website, cardsbycrispy.com. And what I need though is for you guys to be, if you want to get a class for free, you got to get that host code on there before you hit the submit button so that I don't have to worry about calling Stampin' Up after and begging for forgiveness. so yes, so that's just a little change that they're making. Now, they are allowing us to do up to 10, but I don't want to get that far on having to ask for 10 host codes to be added. I don't want to be that one that gets flagged as the bad person that always is calling. So, hi Sherry Martin. So, just a reminder, you guys, there's lots of ways that you can order. I shouldn't say lots of ways, but you can order from yourself, through yourself by placing an online order. If you need help placing online orders, you guys, I'm more than willing to help you place orders too. So, anything I can do to help, that's what I'm here for. So. The other thing I wanted to remind you guys is I just finished my first round of product shares. I had a nice little grouping that went out. So yes, Jean Maxwell, good question. If you place an order over $150 and you want to get a class for free with me, you have to make sure that I'm selected as your demonstrator and then don't put the host code in because you will get the host credit. Because at $150, it earns you $15 of host credit. If you put that host code in there, it won't let you get the host credit, and I'd rather you get the host credit when you're placing that large of an order. I appreciate your support in your business, and so go ahead and not put the host code, but make sure I'm listed as your demonstrator. And then how it always works, guys, is after you place your order, you can just let me know what class you'd like for free. So, all right, good question though, Jean. So product shares. Do you guys want to know what the product share is about? I tell you, it's hard to imagine and comprehend what is a product share and what is the DSP sampler until I actually have the DSP sampler and the product shares prepared. But I can't order the product generally until the catalog goes live to get the product share put together. So I just did my first round. All those people that had ordered product shares or DSP samplers from me, they're already out. They went off this week. Thank goodness my mom cracked the whip on me. And yeah, my back hurts, but we got them out. So I just wanted to show you guys what is the DSP sampler. Oh man, I didn't bring the book over here. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna go get the book. I'm gonna flip this down so you guys can eye candy what this is. So give me a second. So there's two things that I do at the beginning of every catalog. So there's 3 catalogs a year, and I do this 3 times a year, and so each one of these. This is a product share, and this is the DSP Sampler. So what is the DSP Sampler? What you would get, and this is really appealing to those demonstrators or discount shoppers who like to have a good idea of what the paper looks like and to share it with your customers, or if you're an avid crafter and you just want to know how things match and how things go together. So you get these little baggies, one for each sheet, and what you end up doing is putting together a sampler. So if you're trying to figure out, well, what papers go with what, you can see the colors listed here, and you get the little strips to glue down. So I give you all the bits and parts for you to glue and assemble your DSP sampler. So this is what the DSP Sampler is. So it's just a sampling, and then I have the specialty papers, and it also includes sale-a-bration prints. So you guys, I have 6 left of these. So they're all, hi Elizabeth from West Michigan. All right, so I have 6 left. They're 25. Hi Sandy Fisher from California. But you're in Grand Marsh, Wisconsin right now. Sandy, are you stopping by to see me in the hive sometime? You probably are a lot closer right now than you are when you're in California. You should pop in if it's convenient. So the DSP Sampler is $25 for porch pickup with a cash option, or for mailing, and $8 for priority mailing, so it makes it like $33. So that's the DSP Sampler. I have 6 left. So if anybody's interested in that, please reach out so I can make sure I get them in your hot little hands. And then the product share. So let's flip this down. So I have an a la carte option for the product share. There's 3 choices. There's ribbon and more. Paper and more, ribbon, and embellishments. And this little ribbon is so thick, it just doesn't like, it doesn't like to stay together. This little dude. Hi Jane from Grantsburg, Wisconsin. So this is the second time. You guys, if you see something and you just gotta fix it, don't you feel like you just gotta fix it right away while it's in front of your face? Okay, well that needed to get fixed. So ribbons, there's 9 different ribbons. You get 2 yards of each of the ribbons. So that's the ribbon assortment. And I think it was like around $19 or so. Can't remember exactly, something like that. There's an embellishment collection, and you get 2 shaker domes, you get 4 snowflakes, you get sequins, you get a sampling of all the embellishments. Hi Patty Stebbins. You get some gold leaves, and you get some acrylic dots. So it's basically a quarter or a fifth of each package. And then there's a paper and more. So the paper and more includes, and this one's Wendy's. So Wendy Ellison, thank you. You're a porch pickup. I haven't told you it's here yet because I wanted to do a quick live. So you get 1 of each of the designer series papers and a 6x6. All of those specialty papers. Look at this cork one, it's so cool. You get the velvet, you get the DS. I even threw in sale-a-bration, 1 of each of the sale-a-brations, and then there's that bedazzling paper. Like that, I gave you a quarter pack of the felt, the memories and more cardstock, or no cards and envelopes, some of the treat boxes. The only thing missing here is the tombs. I have more coming tomorrow, Wendy. That's why I was just too short. So that's what it's called, paper and more, because I included in some extra things. So you guys, if you're interested in this, just go to August 3rd on my cardsbycrispy.com. Go to the August 3rd on my calendar of events. And it has all the information. Or email me if you can't find it. You guys just email me and I can help you out. But I wanted to tell you the product shares, I'm going to do a round 2. So if I can get a few more people that want to sign up, then I will do another share so it works out good. So all the girls that already got signed up, so like Roxanne, here's what in the mail yesterday. Linda, yours did. Jeannie and Deanne, yours did. There's a few more. So I'm trying to remember all 12, but I can't remember all 12, you guys. Okay, so that's the product share. You guys see back there? You see that? That's the sale-a-bration board. So we are officially in the thick of sale-a-bration. Sale-a-bration is a special time in Stampin' Up's year where they give away free gifts with a $50 purchase or $100 purchase. There's different levels. And so on top of what Stampin' Up gives for sale-a-bration, I do a drawing. And so we filled up the first board and we did the drawing last night. And Leslie McMinn, you were the lucky winner. Your name was on there one time. Jeannie Parker, you were on there more times. I thought you were going to get it, but you didn't. Sorry. Leslie McMinn, you got it. So what happens is whenever we fill up a board, it's a $50 order placed with me. How much is the paper and more? So Kathy back, the paper and more is $39. If you pay for it on my website, the cash option, so if it's PayPal, friends and family, or Zelle, Venmo, it's $37. So reach out to me. We'll figure out if you want to sign up for one, how it works best to pay for it. So the sale-a-bration board is, though, with every $50 order you spend with me personally, Christine, then you get your name on the board. And so we're on to board number 2. I know I was teasing you, Jeannie. Sorry. I had my fingers crossed. I'm like, I think Jeannie might get this. So we're going to do board number 2. And as you guys, it's half full already. So we're working right through that. So just know sale-a-bration goes through September 30th. And the free items are while supplies last. So if there's something that you really can't live without, make sure you get those first and then work down your list. Okay, did you guys? Oh, I tried my darnest to get a Tip Tuesday for you guys. Hi, Helen. On by Tuesday. And I just, coming out of this weekend with the Summer Creative Escape, it consumed a lot of my energy and my time in a good way, but so much that I just couldn't pull a Tip Tuesday together in time. And it got to be Wednesday, and Kelly was doing Technique Thursday. She stopped by yesterday, and she's like, Chris, I threw in a tip in there. Should we consolidate and call it Tip Tuesday and Technique Thursday? So I hope you guys don't feel like I cheated you out of a Tip Tuesday, but oh my gosh. When she said that a tip is to go to, this is what the tip was, I don't know. So she was working on the Harvest Medley cards. And she went to these papers, like the designer paper always lists the paper. This one's called, oh, right here. So what she did is she was trying to get inspiration for what colors to use. And so she went to the designer series paper list and saw all these colors. And you guys, that's how she decided what colors she was going to use for her Technique Thursday card. Look at that. You can see it. It's Crumb Cake, Misty, Moonlight, Soft, Succulent, Bumblebee, and Calypso Coral. And that's what it's like the Skittles, Taste the Rainbow. And this was her Technique Thursday card. It was paper stripping something. At the top of my head, I can't remember what the 3 words were. And Kelly, if you're watching, you can always pop in. So, but didn't she do awesome here with the Quiet Meadow dies? She threw in some of the new diamond weave ribbon, the time-worn embossing folder. She splattered it, you guys. We love splattering with the Stella pen, and added color and splits all over some of the new brushed metallic dots. It's so pretty. So that was her tip, and then Technique all in one, and she saved me. Oh my gosh. So beautiful card, Kelly. I am so proud of you. You're so amazing. I love the cards that you make and leave for me on my table here. All right, so you guys, just a little note. If you figured I had a hard time getting the Tip Tuesday out, then you probably realized I haven't gotten the newsletter out. And I have not been so tardy on a newsletter since maybe, I don't know, many, many years. I usually have that newsletter within 4 days of the beginning of the month. And the escape was, what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that fell right at the beginning of the month. And my plan after the live tonight is to write the newsletter, and I'll get that out to you guys. And as soon as I have the newsletter published, I will be posting it, and I'll be emailing it to everybody. So just stay tuned for that one. Okay, so we talked about everything except for I want to just tell you what's coming up too for classes before we get making the monthly cards for August. I've got a lot coming up, you guys, over the next few days, and I have openings I have spots at some of the classes. So I want to just roll through them really quick, because if you want to send, I think I even have one left for tonight. I'd have to count, but if anybody's interested, I'm one. So potentially 2. But I have tomorrow is the mini catalog launch party and sale-a-bration card class. And so what I did is I made 3 of those cards as fun folds, because the designer series paper is free with a $50 purchase. So I get extra paper. So I use a half a sheet of DSP on 2 of the cards and a third of a DSP on 1 of the cards. So if you like fun folds, this is going to be a great class. And I have about 5 spots left with this one. So this is going to be live tomorrow night at 5:30. So this opens like this, and then there's an inside right there. And then that features the deer, the peaceful deer. And then this one is like an accordion, opens like that. This one opens like this, and it is like a money card holder. And this one opens normally. And so it's the Dahlia, Delightful Dahlia maybe, stamp set, and then penguin paper. This features the penguin paper and dazzling paper, the beautifully pen paper. So I tried to feature all of the sale-a-bration products in this one. So this is tomorrow. I do have spots open. I know you wouldn't get the cards in time for class, but you could get them in May after. This is Sunday, you guys. I have a Sunday class again. Woohoo! It's called Let's Just Stamp. Hi, Mary from Philly. Let's Just Stamp just means that you're not going to be doing any die cutting or embossing, or I should say I didn't do any, or Anna didn't do any. It's stamps, ink, and paper, just to show you how you can create beautiful cards just starting out without having a lot of supplies. And it features the art gallery stamp set. I have 5 kits left for this one as well. And this one's free with a minimum purchase, or there's a fee. This one was free with a minimum purchase or a fee. And this one's Sunday at 5 Central. And then next Thursday, so a week from tonight, we're going to be doing the Sweet Bundle class. It's the Simply Elegant class. I don't know if I really have many spots left for this, you guys. I under forecasted by 6, so I'm making more kits. So there's space. I could make more. If I'm making 6, I might as well make 8 or 12, right? I really, 3 weeks ago, I kind of guessed 48 people, and then now I need 6 more. So I should just go with 60, and I'm always good. But this one is the Simply Elegant. So you guys, it's great if you need some wedding cards. You really honestly just need some sentiments. If you don't have the Simply Elegant stamp set, you could get by if you had some flowers and sentiments. This one, I did use silver embossing powder. So for this one, if anybody wants to sign up yet, please let me know soon so I can get those in the mail. So, oh, Mary, you broke your hand, so you're bummed. Oh, no, that's not good. Oh, man. And then at the end of the month, we have ink, paper, scissors featuring the Sweet as a Peach class. And that, you guys, the colors. This one's a fun fold, and that one's a fun fold. And this one's just cut off on the sides so that you can see the the designer paper. So this one is a fee. It's $25 or $30 if you get it mailed. It includes a ribbon and your embellishments, a whole pack of each. So it's my product-based class where you get card kits and product. So, and that's Sweet as a Peach. And so it'd be great if anybody wants to sign up. I got lots of spots here because I haven't started. Hi, Christy Warren from Hot Western Washington State. And then you guys, these are, oh my goodness, these are already for September. So I don't even want to get going into September because I will do a separate Facebook Live showcasing all the cards that are coming up for September as we get closer. Another note too, I know some of you guys are new to me. If you missed out on these 2 classes, I have kits available yet. I think I have about 8 left of this one. I am home back on your own phone. Yay, Deanne! So this was the Timeless Tropical from Ink, Paper, Scissors. So if you guys were interested in this class, reach out. I can make that happen. And this one too. The Beauty of the Earth was from July 1st. You guys, I over forecasted by a couple, so I'm hanging on to a few kits in case anybody places an order and they want a class for free. This could be one of your options. So those are some extra ones I have yet. And at the end tonight, we're going to be doing a drawing for the Textures and Frames stamp set. So anybody who placed an order for the monthly class tonight, I'm going to be doing a drawing, and we'll give that away. And look at this, you guys. I have all these cards. I've been a slacker. I need to give away these Tidings and Trimmings cards and the Let's Just Stamp from July. So we got some winner chicken dinners for them. So, all right. On that note, let's do some roll calling so that we can say hi to everybody who signed up for class. We have 20 for tonight that signed up for class. Either that paid the fee or placed an order to get it for free. So we've got Sandy Wicklander. And Sandy, your kits went in the mail. You had said that was okay. Your kits went in the mail with your goodie box. And so you should have them hopefully within a few days. We have Deanna Stell, Brenda Wood, Angelica Newton, Susie Snow, Mary Carls, Kelly Bird, Debbie Schultz, Kathy King, Nancy Stormer, I should say, naughty Nancy Stormer, Pat Kufel Evan, Lila Erickson, Jennifer Jones, Leslie McMinn, Patty Salter, Carolee Crabb, Ruth Nicholson, Barb Barco, Angela Orvis, and Judy Kruger. You girls are awesome. Thank you so much for taking this class with me. The majority of you should have your card kits, except for a couple people that said it was okay to delay it to combine shipping. So, but reach out if for some reason you don't have those kits in the next like 3 days or so. Okay, so yay, some of you are here, awesome. Where do we want to start? I'm trying to think which one do we want to start with. There's easy, middle, and tedious. And I was thinking in my head, maybe it'd be better to get the tedious one done while we have energy and save the easy one for last. That's what girls like to do in class. They like to get the harder one done first, and then they finish on an easy note. So you guys, I almost forgot. Oh, Leslie, yours arrived today. That's awesome. I think that went in the mail on Tuesday. So you got it in 2 days. Fast, fast. You guys, my mom was helping. She likes to push. So it's like, let's do this. Let's do this. What about this? What about this? And so my mind is somewhere, and then she's like bringing in other thoughts and ideas. And so I can get sidetracked. It happens. Like a squirrel. My ducks are in a row, but the squirrels come in and mess things up. That's how it goes. And so I never like to mail out kits in the same day that they get kitted, because then I can sit and think about, well, what did we forget to put in it? And I almost forgot to put that little Brad in. And so for those that got them mailed, I stuck them in a little plastic baggie, like a poly bag, and it's on the outside of your envelope. I didn't, because you can see that these Brads, some of them are big. I didn't want it wrecking your envelope. So you have to look for your Brad. You have a bow in this kit. You have this little slip of paper. I'm just grabbing markers. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, if anybody is watching that gave me this envelope, this arrived yesterday and very nicely written out to me. And when I opened it up, all it had in the inside was this. And so I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm missing something or what happened, but I am not sure if this, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a puzzle I'm supposed to put together, but if somebody sent this to me, help, I don't know what to do with it. So it came from Milwaukee. Kathy Beck, you were the first one I thought of, but I'm not sure why you would send me that, or maybe it was somebody else for that matter. So, okay. So the card that we're going to start with you guys on tonight is our spinner card. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. It's just what I told everybody in class. This card just required you to take one step at a time. And there's a spinner in here. You know, I wondered the same thing, Patricia. Is it extras from a class? But why spend the stamp to mail it back to me? I don't know. So this is the spinner card that we're going to make first, just to get this one done. And I want to point out one of the main things you want to do when you stamp this circle underneath here is you have a window here that if you stamp high, like I did on, I think, is it this one? Yes. If you can see here, my stems for my cherries got cut off because I stamped my bold a little high. Like where this one, I learned my lesson and I stamped it a little lower. That is going to be your hardest thing to get through, I think, on this card is stamping this window section. So let's talk a little bit about what we've got going on for stuff. We are using the Give It a Whirl dies. The Give It a Whirl dies were used to cut out, let's get here. They were used to cut out this, so this designer paper is from the Pattern Party designer paper from the host set. You can get it as a host. And first step that we have to do is cut out the outline. So this outline cuts the outline, not this window. So what happens is this gets cut, and then you have to run this piece back through the machine to cut out the window. The reason you have to do it in 2 steps is you cannot put these over the top of each other to cut out this window. They did them as 2 separate things. So first you run it through here. And I'm telling you this in case you get this die and you want to use it at home, how it was accomplished. You cut that out, and then there's a little hole here, and there's a little hole with this die, and you just line that hole up and you cut the window out. So it's a 2-step process for die cutting this. Okay, so that's the first thing that happened. And let's see here. We're gonna get some stamps out so that, and then you guys, you should have 3 little black matte dots in your kit. And you also have a little white banner thing that came from that die set as well, from the Give It a Whirl. I'm just gonna grab some inks so that I can just put this behind me and make some room here. All right, got this guy, cupcakes, that, the brads, circles. Okay, so we talked about those dies. All right, the stamp set that I'm using is called Measure of Love. It has the bowl of cherries, it has the cupcakes, it has the scale, it has the needle. It doesn't have the sentiment that I used. I used a sentiment that says happy birthday. I pulled that from, I mean, you guys can pull sentiments from wherever. I just happened to pull here. I found happy birthday from Timeless Tulips. That fit in there really nice. And I liked the cursive, and it kind of went with the card. So I got that from Timeless Tulips. Okay, so let's move that so I've got some room. Give It a Whirl dies have a whole bunch of dies in here. Super cool die set. And then that's the circle. So you all have a circle that's cut out. And then these little arrows. So you see there's 2 of them. I put both of them in your kit. I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. If I didn't, as long as you have one, that's all that matters. But I'm like, well, I might as well give you both, I think. So I have here, these are what the little guys look like. They're just short little arrows. And then those are what the long arrows look like. And that's what I used on this card, was those long arrows. Okay, the other thing too are brads. They're called round and square brads. They have black and white, and then there's small, and there's big, and there's round, and there's square. And honestly, it doesn't matter what brad you got, you just need a brad. It could be small, it gets covered up. You don't even see the brad, okay? So you should have that brad in your kit. Okay, we talked about this piece. We talked about this piece. We talked about your little arrow. You should have a little circle. It's just not a little circle, it's a big circle. All right, then you have a piece of white. Mine's a little long, but it's a scrap of white, something like this I think you guys have, and that's for stamping your scale. You have a piece of white. Oh, Jeannie, at least you got it working on the old one. Piece of white is 4 by 5 1/4. I have to tell you something, guys. Over the last 2 weeks, people have been coming to me in class and asking me to trim their paper for them. And I know nobody's mentioned it on kits that I've sent out to them, but what we have gathered over the last couple weeks is that my blade on my industrial strength paper cutter, the big monster, is getting dull. And what happens is it pulls the paper slightly as it's cutting, and it kind of gives paper a slant to it that you have to trim it to make it straight again. It's just about a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a hair more. But I just want you guys to know that I'm working on it. I have a new blade. I'm waiting for Tyler to fix it. So if you get card kits, or you've gotten card kits from me in the past, and the paper is a little bit wonky, I try to catch it and cut them all individually if I see that. But I know that over the last few weeks, a couple have gone out, and it's not every piece of paper that it happens to. I think like the top stack is fine, and then as I get to the bottom, it doesn't work. So just know that I know that that's happening, and I'm working on having it not happen, okay? So, all right. You have a piece of Bermuda Bay that's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. So take that, fold it in half, and make sure your corners are nice and lined up. Hi, April from Arizona. Grab your bone folder, burnish your edge, and now you've got your card base ready. We'll worry about stamping our inside when we work on our bowl of cherries. Okay, we're gonna start with easy things first. How does that sound? Okay, so happy birthday. Fabulous. So we're gonna stamp happy birthday. So the ink colors I have for tonight are Bermuda Bay. These look like cool Christmas colors. Okay, so garden green, real red, memento. So we're gonna start with the Bermuda Bay. Hi, Denise. And we're gonna start with the happy birthday. So because I have a white label, I'm gonna use my gray mat and I'm not gonna put any paper behind it because when you can see the outside of the label, I'm gonna see if I can get in here without getting my head in here. You can kind of line up and see where to stamp. Whereas if you would have a piece of white underneath you, it'd be really hard to see that. So I always use a different color background from the color that I'm stamping on. So we've got our happy birthday done. And let's see if oh yeah, my chamois good. I was gonna say, I didn't know if my chamois was hydrated. So I always stamp off to get the stamp cleaned a little bit before I go into my chamois. All right, then let's do, so we got the birthday done. Let's grab our memento black and we're gonna stamp on your scrap paper, the scale. So with the scale, you're gonna just ink up with your black ink pad. And I did not do by the magic of TV. Oh, which way am I gonna fit this on here? Oh yeah, he fits right there. By the magic of TV did not happen today. So I'm gonna show you how I colored this guy. So you've got your scale, or yep, it's a scale. Then you have a needle that you can make whatever weight you want it to be. So people ask, how do you line this up? And I don't know if you can see it so well, but there's a little dot there that I try to line up. And I'm gonna do this without trying to get my head in the way, but I think I might get my head in the way because you gotta kind of be like right above it and you hover till you think you got it and then you just stamp it. So that's how much mine weighs. Okay, so that's it for memento for the moment. So we'll put this over here and we're gonna do a little coloring. I've got some blends that are used. I grabbed Smoky Slate and I grabbed Pool Party actually. Pool Party, so dark and light Bermuda Bay, or the dark Bermuda Bay was too dark, so I grabbed a light Bermuda Bay and a Pool Party in dark, and then I grabbed Polished Pink. Melon Mambo would also work really well for the, and that pink is for the cupcakes here, okay? So for now though, we're gonna do the scale, and what I like to do is take the dark side, or like the dark marker, and I'm gonna kind of go around the edge of certain area here, like that, left and the right side, and maybe just a little bit more. So I like to do the dark first, and then I go over the top with, oh, and this guy's seen some love. Time to get a new Smoky Slate. Okay, we're not gonna use that side. We're gonna use the other side. So just know that as you use your markers, they will get loved, and eventually if the tip gets worn out or if it gets dried, you're going to have to get yourself a new set of markers. So I noticed that this marker has been loved. I was wondering about that. So what's happening here is I have to use the small end, even though I like the brush tip a little bit better because it looks less streaky. But we're gonna make this work. So just coloring the top of the scale in Smoky Slate. Oh, Vicki, you got your power back on, that's awesome. So that's it for the Smoky Slate. Then for the Bermuda and the Pool Party. So I like to do just a little bit in the corners here of the darker color. It's just gonna give it a little bit of shading. So just a little bit like that. And then we're gonna use the Pool Party. And I'm using the brush tip. I can see that that also has been loved. When like 30 different people all use the marker, that's what happens. They just get a little bit beat up, and I know that's part of it. So I didn't, so we'll have to see who's coming to class on Saturday. Maybe they can bring their own. So I did as much as I could with that end, but now I'm gonna pull in the fine tip, and I'm gonna do the rest with the fine tip. And so you guys can make your scale whatever color you want. It does not have to be Bermuda Bay or Pool Party. It can be any color, and you don't even have to use blends to color in your scale. You could use anything else, and maybe you might not even do a scale, because you might think of something else that is going to be going through your circle. So you guys, if you don't have the measures of love, you might have to get really creative and figure out something else to stamp. Okay, so we're almost done with this. But because I'm doing the dark first, then I'm going over the entire area with the light marker. So if you're watching Julie, I know you're coming to class on Saturday. You should bring dark Pool Party, Bermuda, polished pink, and smoky slate. Okay, so then grab your paper scissors, and you're gonna do a little bit of Freddy Kruegering here, and just chop this apart. Not apart, but you're just gonna trim around the edges. There are no dies for the measures of love. I'm so sorry to tell you that. I wish that there were dies for absolutely everything, but I don't think that that is feasible. So you just have to do a little bit of fussy cutting. This one's the nice, you just go straight. That one's the easiest part of it. And just do a little bit more this way. So we're just getting our scale ready to go. Okay, Julie, I'm glad you got the memo there. All right, so let's get... Straight lines are always awesome. It's the curves that get me. Okay, so we've got that ready to go. That'll come in handy when we want to go ahead and put the card together. So what's next? We're going to stamp our circle. And I'll tell you, it took me a little bit of practice to get this little wheel figured out. So if you have this Give It a Whirl die set, these are some things to watch, and hopefully you'll learn some things so you don't necessarily make the same mistakes that I do, or I should say I did. So this wheel, I have some samples here. I learned my lesson, and I finally got one that turned out good so that I could have this in class to show people that this was my sample. So there's 3 things that get stamped here. So when you guys have your circle, I want to point out that, and I don't know if I'll catch it in the video here, but when that gets die cut, the dies, let me pull them out so you can see. Hi, Barb. You can see here that this cuts out, and this, so I'm calling these triangles. I know that this is not a real triangle, but to me it's like 3 lines, and it leaves these leave an impression. So if you're looking at your circle, there are 3 sections. That's what you want to pay attention to. The 3 sections. I don't know if you can see them, but there's a line here there's indented, and then there's a little circle all the way around that's indented. That window, so each one of these triangles is what you want to stamp your objects in. Okay, so what I told people to do first was to stamp our friendship tips the scale. How I had people do that is I told them line up the little holes here. Once you get the holes lined up, make sure you get there's a triangle here and here. So you guys, one of the things, if you're not trusting yourself, get a pencil out, and you can put little tick marks for where the lines are, so that when you're stamping you can see them. So then you can always erase them. So line up the hole here, and then you're going to put this area in the window and try not to move it. Grab your Bermuda Bay ink and ink up our friendship tips the scale. So that fits in the window, just barely. Be careful not to get any ink around the edges, because you don't want to risk hitting your black and white paper. And what you're going to do is just stamp that right in the window. Now, if you don't have the sentiment, whatever else you want, this is one way to do it. It's just lining up the window and stamping something in the inside. Now that doesn't work for the bowl of cherries, and it doesn't work for the cupcakes. But this was a starting point. Everybody was pretty accomplished when they got that one done. So that is the one section. So now you have another section that we're going to do next. That one, you're not going to use the window as a guide. You're actually going to look at my sample here and see that there's a triangle here, and you see the hole is right there. What I told everybody, do you see that distance from the hole to the bowl? It doesn't look like a lot. It's less than an 1/8 of an inch. So if you get a ruler out, it's an 1/8 of an inch, okay? So you don't just know that the higher you stamp the bowl, the less you're going to see of your stems, okay? So the bowl is next, and what you're gonna do, hi Sue Beasley in Australia, ink up your bowl really good. And you want to have this positioned so that you know your triangle or your V, this is a V, is right there. And you're going to stamp your bowl about an 1/8 of an inch from that hole, okay? Do you see that? So when you hold this up, you line up the holes. Part of your bowl is covered up, but that's okay because you have a whole mound of cherries and you have stems that need to fit in there. Okay, so before you leave your bowl though, you're gonna stamp a bowl on the inside down here. Okay, right there. Hi Ethel from South Jersey. Okay, that's it for the Bermuda Bay ink. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so that's that. Now grab your real red or a red ink and you're gonna do your cherries next. If you guys need to practice this, go ahead and get a scratch piece of paper out, but you're just going to stamp your cherries right above the bowl so that they're hanging out right there. Okay, so grab your circle and you're gonna do the same thing on that. Just going to ink up and stamp your cherries right in your bowl, and you can test it. Put your little hole lined up, and now you've got room for your stems. Had you stamped the bowl up higher, your stems won't show, I promise you. And then you might be sad, and we don't want that. Okay, so now we're gonna do our stems, and the stems are in garden green or a green. And practice, you guys. Sometimes this lined up stamping doesn't help, it's not easy. If you practice on a piece of paper before you go to your white piece of paper, you'll be happier with yourself. But those stems line up right on top of the cherries. And then you're gonna also wanna grab one here for your bowl on the inside. So you got your stems on your cherry there. Those stems should line up to all 6 of those top cherries. Okay, the last thing that we need to stamp are our cupcakes. So let's just clean up a little bit. I always try to stamp off if I can before going to my chamois. It just makes it so that the chamois stays a little bit cleaner. Okay, and then our cherries. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Okay, so those 3 are done. What's left is, now this is, you guys are gonna have to get creative. So, I've learned from making my own error on this one. Then I'm like, I stamped my cherries first, my bowl, and then I stamped the cupcake. And I knew to mask off here because I saw that the bowl was there, but I didn't think about that. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh shoot, that cupcake's gonna be right in the way of my words. So you're gonna need to mask, guys. So if you have a Post-it note, even just using a piece of scratch paper, what you're gonna need to do is put down a mask like this. Cover up where you don't want the cupcake to hit. Now that's if you're doing the cupcake. So in class, what I did, I had made my mistake. So what I did is I just cut out the area here, and that's what people use. You can see that there's a lot of burnt cupcakes here. So yes, so that's a mask. Now the trick with this is when you're looking at your circle, there's a divot right there from the die. You cannot be above that divot. That divot kind of marks the top of where the window is, right there. So if you need to, put a pencil mark there. And you're gonna make sure that you don't go higher than that pencil mark or that divot to stamp your cupcakes. So there's 6 cupcakes, and you don't care about the bottom 3. They're not gonna do anything. So the main thing is not to exceed this mark right here, because otherwise you won't see the top of your cupcake. Okay, so you're gonna see the 3 of them. And don't worry about that or that. You really won't see that when the time comes and it's all put together. So that was the mask we're done with. Sample's done. Can be done with the ink. So we made this a birthday card. Find yourself a nice little sentiment to stamp on the inside. We were using one from Peaceful Moments. It was something about your special day. That works good. But other than that, besides an inside saying, you're pretty much done with your stamping. So what's left is a little coloring, and then we're gonna assemble. So coloring, whenever I'm using blends, I always put the paper underneath. And for this one, I have some pink cupcakes. So we're just going to, this is polished pink. So if you want to use a different pink, like Melon Mambo, or there used to be a different pink. You guys might have the old pink one. Whatever pinks you have at home will look perfectly fine with this. You're just gonna make some really good looking cupcakes here. And they didn't have to bake in the oven for 20 minutes. All right, and then I'm gonna use the dark Pool Party to do the bases of the cupcakes here, the wrappers. Now, I'm so curious, you guys. I know not everybody has this Measures of Love, so you're gonna have to get creative. And I have that class card challenge post where you guys can share your cards that you've made from the classes. And I'm excited to see what you guys all come up with. Okay, our cupcakes are colored, and now it's time for assembly. So what you're gonna do is line up your holes, and you're gonna stick your brad right through. Don't worry about that cupcake there, because your scale is gonna cover up the top of that cupcake, okay, or the frosting. So put your brad through, and what you're gonna do is split the ends of them like that, okay? So that is what makes this spin around. Oh, look at that! The stems of the cherries are good, okay? And our friendship tips the scale, so you just did that. Now, what needs to happen, dimensionals. So if you have, what I recommended in class is if you have the foam strips that Stampin' Up! Sells, that's perfect. You can use your adhesive sheets. These foam sheets are just a hair higher than the dimensionals, and they just give it a little bit more height for the card to float around, or the spinner to float around. So make sure you grab your glue scissors, and we're gonna get a couple of them. And you don't wanna hit where your spinner is. Kind of stay away from that as much as you can so it doesn't interfere with the spinning action. Let's grab these 2 off of here. And we're gonna trim, put one there, over here. And then I also don't want saggy middle. We don't like our saggy middles, so we're gonna go ahead and cut one more and put it right there. So you just don't wanna be that your spinner circle hits any of the dimensionals. So these are foam strips. They come 2 sheets in this pack, and they are great for shaker cards and the spinner card. Okay, so once you've got those set, go ahead and pick the waxy paper off. And we're gonna put that down. I got my garbage back, guys. So I don't have to throw things all over the floor. All right, so peel, peel, peel. And now this is going to get adhered to the front of the card. Just try to get it straight, guys. If you get it crooked, it is a bear to pull this off of here. So just make sure your lines are as straight as possible. All right, here we go. Nice. Okay, can go ahead and glue your inside in, whichever adhesive you like the best for gluing in. I'm a liquid glue girl because it gives me some wiggle, wiggle, wiggle with it. Hi, Faye. Thanks for joining after your team meeting. Woohoo! Oh, I forgot something, guys. Okay, we're going to still make this happen. I forgot to put the ribbon. So, we're going to catch it on that side. Making this happen. Sticking this ribbon. I'm trying to pull that up. Oh, yes, it's going to work. See? Even I forget the ribbon every now and then. I'm sneaking it right in on top of the dimensional. And there we go. I hope that you guys caught that there's ribbon there and you're okay. All right, ribbon's down. Life is good. Then there's a scale. And I popped up the scale with dimensionals. So grab. Yes, Luann, the pink with this Bermuda Bay they're just so awesome together. I love it, love it. The other thing that, let's see here, I glue. I'm gonna grab a strip here from the side. We're gonna use that on the top of our scale and pick those all off. Missed that little guy. Okay. So my little tip of my ice cream or my frosting there, I want to make sure I don't see that. Oh, you guys, that's another bad thing. I don't know if I caught people in class, but you can't, wow, I got to get on my A game with this gluing here. You can't have a dimensional right in the middle here because it will not work. The spinning action will not work. So you want to make sure that you are far enough away. So we're going to back that up just a hair, you guys. Wow, I forgot all about that. I didn't even tell anybody that in class. I wonder if people caught it. So you see what I did is I cut out the dimensional here so that it doesn't hit the circle part, the white underneath. All right, because otherwise that wouldn't spin if that was sticking to it right there. Oh man. Yes, okay, now we're back in business. And so you know that little bit of the cupcake got cut off. It's okay. And there's some showed, but honestly, the person that gets this card is not going to look at those fine little details. You're just going to be spinning around in a circle and happy, happy. Okay, so we have a sentiment here that gets put on, and then I've got a little bow that you guys should have and a little arrow. The arrow is going to be tedious. So what you're going to do is before you put it on, if you have your Stella pen, it'd be good to Stella this not on the card, otherwise you might get Stella all over. And my Stella is very full of rubbing alcohol. Can you see that? It got it really wet. And then for the little sentiment, I'm going to pop that up with dimensional. So I'm going to cut myself, let's see here, a strip about that long. And we're going to put that, I'm going to make sure I hit the bottom edge of it so that it catches the card. So this one I put the sentiment above the ribbon. For this one, I'm going to put it actually below it because I put my ribbon up a little higher. So I'm going to see a little bit of that pink on the top, and then grab a little glue dot for your bow. And I put that bow kind of in the nook of the arrow or the bannery part. Kind of stick your bow on the side there. Now, if your tails aren't going where you want them to, you can take and add a couple more little mini glue dots. Like one there, and then that one will stick there, and then that guy. Okay, grab your ribbon scissors to trim your tails, like that, and then fluff up your bunny ears. Okay, and the last thing we gotta do, well not last, second last, we gotta put our little arrow on. Now this, you guys gotta be very careful. It's not a big area. So don't get glue all over your fingers. But you just need to do dot, dot, not a lot. So a little bit there, and I'm gonna put a little bit down on the tail there. And you basically have to go and get it exactly where you want it and not try to wiggle it all over. So we're gonna set that right there. So that just is trying to tell somebody that that needs to go down. And then you guys have 3 black matte dots in your kit. They're either too large and a small, or they were too small and a large. And then that one's actually missing one, so we'll put one over there, put one here, and one more over here. All right, so we did it. My scale's a little crooked, but I was so like crazy about my adhesive there. But look, that's all it is. We just do a little spinner. How many of you guys have this? Give it a whirl. I'm curious. In class, I think about 4 people had it the other night, or 3 people, something like that. But I don't think anybody had used it yet. And so we've got that, and our inside is a beautiful birthday card. Woohoo! All right, you guys, we got the hardest one done. So now you can see a little bit of a difference if you like your bow, if you like the ribbon on the top, or if you like a little bit of the pink showing on the bottom. It's really dependent upon where you put the ribbon. Okay, boom, we got one done. Yay. Okay, so we got our needle done, we got that done, and our sample. So I'm gonna put that all back in my to-go kit here, or my kitty here. Oh, Penny has it, awesome. Yay. It's one of those things that it's not part of a bundle, so you might overlook it. Oh, Anne loves it. She might need it. I love it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put this stuff all behind me. Grab this, and just give me a second while I swap things out. And we're going to go to the Mountain Air card next. And this one, you're going to feel like Bob Ross. All right. So, next one, you guys, features the, what is it, Mountain Air stamp set. This was around for now, it was the spring catalog of 2 years ago, I think. And then it was in the annual catalog last year, and it rolled over again. So it's not a bundle per se, but it does have dies. One of the dies that got used here is the tree in your kit. You should have a tree, and the rest is not from the die set. But I did pull in the tree line, the mountain, the trees, and the birds. So the bird, bird, bird. Bird is the word. All right, lots of stamping here. Oh man, that's stuck to that. So we've got our tree line. This is the card we're gonna be making. We got our mountain line, navy, garden green. So our birds are in navy. Our trees are in garden green. We've got crumb cake for some sand, and espresso for a sentiment. I pulled in gray granite, you guys, so lots of earth tones here. The sentiment I pulled in was wishing you every happiness a special day will bring. We could have used that on the other one too. That came from, oh, it's in the other set, Peaceful Moments. And then I used the banner Pick-a-Punch, where there's I call it an innie and an outie. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's that one makes your traditional banner, and that one makes the like outie version of it. Okay, so the other thing that got pulled in here are the stitched rectangle dies, and then the bark embossing folder. I don't have that bark embossing folder down here with me. It's actually upstairs. So we're gonna do a thank you card though, I think. The sentiments that I used, I pulled them from a set called Blossoms in Bloom. Lots of, oh, Barb loves all the cards. Oh, thank you so much. Blossoms in Bloom has lots of beautiful short sentiments that are one-liners that make great additions to the front of a card. And I'm gonna make this card into a thank you card instead of having it be a birthday card, because then whoever my winner chicken dinner is of it, I can say thank you to them. So we're gonna put the happy birthday back there and go to town. So you guys, your kits are a little bit empty, it looks like. You're gonna be like, wow, she didn't put any ribbon on here, and she didn't put any embellishment. So if you might think your kits are a little bit naked, like not having a lot in them. And it's a guy card. You guys, Tyler actually gave me the copper leaf on this card. I had an award. I think that's the second time in my life that he ever gave me an award on one of my cards. I don't make a lot of manly man, naturey, earthy cards unless they're for him. And so this is a class card, and it was up on the board, and he gave me an award. Woohoo! And it's just a copper leaf, so it's not like an award, I should say. But Your base is crumb cake. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Take that, fold it in half, and burnish the edge. Now, guys, this is a horizontal card, so don't get happy stamping your inside vertical, okay? And I wanted to point out there are 2 espresso mats that are the same size. So I made these 2, your 4 by 5 1/4 traditional mat. And then there's 2 whites. One is the inside and one is the outside. They are both the same size, so it doesn't matter. They're reversible. You can use one for either one. They are 3 13/16 by 5 1/16. So again, these are interchangeable. Doesn't matter. One's the outside, one's the inside. And then you guys, I'll also have a little 1/2-inch strip here, if I could pick it up. A 1/2-inch strip that I did do the end of it like that. In case you like that, you could always cut it off. If you like the look of the straight ends like that, which just depends what look you like better. Hi, Margaret from Rhode Island. We'll leave the thank you out because that's the card I'm gonna clone, or gonna do a thank you card. I'll get it out of the plastic so that it doesn't have a glare. And then you guys, also in your kit, you have the tree. You will have to take your pick tool and pick out any little bits or parts. Anna did all the die cutting of the trees, and I don't know, Chris, I am watching it along with you, so I am watching all your comments. I have not cut out at all. Knock on countertop. So hopefully everybody else is doing okay. It could always be the internet on your end. I noticed that sometimes if the weather can play an impact on it. Okay, so there's Susan from upstate New York. Woohoo! Okay, let's get this out of here. So you're gonna have to do a little picking of your tree. This die set actually comes with, it's really cool, it comes with 2 of those trees, so they have a matching pair here. Okay? All right, so our inside has some trees stamped on it, and then we have to create our masterpiece. You guys are gonna feel like an artist when you're done with this. So you don't need your tree right now. Let's do the easy stamping first though. Let's stamp our sentiment, and we're gonna stamp the trees on the inside because that'll get us conditioned and ready for our next set of stamping, which is a lot of steps. Okay, so the thank you, again, I'm pulling out my piercing mat because these are photopolymer stamps. They don't have much cushion underneath them. Oh, they don't have any cushion underneath them. So I'm gonna take that, and it's photopolymer, so you can see right where you're stamping. So you've got the thank you, okay? Then I always stamp off to get the ink off. That's it for the espresso. Okay. Now we're gonna do some trees on our inside. So I've got garden green, which is the same color green we just used on the cherries of the stems. And I like to put a little piece of paper underneath just in case I go over, I don't get my piercing mat full of ink. So I'm gonna do a first strength, meaning I'm gonna stamp directly onto my white paper, and I'm gonna do the trees at full strength. It's a double set, so there's 2 trees there. And then this other single lonely guy, we're gonna do second strength, meaning stamp off, and then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna put him in the background to make it look like he's in the distance behind this one. Okay, so stamp off, and now those will clean up in a second. We're gonna shut our green ink because we're not gonna use it at the moment. So you've got your inside mat, which is a double mat. So I call this a double mat. So that's gonna go on the inside. I do notice sometimes if you guys have a trimmer that's a guillotine, it sometimes needs that little end snipped off. The other thing I always do is I hold up my cards, like my mats. Whenever you guys get kits from me, you should always test them out. Now that I know my trimmer's been cutting a little bit wonky, it's always good to line up to see if you like where they're cut or if they're straight before you put glue. Because in class, sometimes people put glue on them right away and then they go to put them down and they're like, oh no, it's not straight or it's not good. Okay, so I always try to recommend that you hold this up. And in this case, I want to trim my white, even me, I made my own kit here, just a little bit that I'd rather see a little bit more of the brown. So I'm actually going to trim off a hair off the top. and I'm going to trim off a hair on the side that I didn't stamp. And then we're going to see if I like that better. Just you're going to see a little bit more of the brown. Yep, just enough. So that will get matted on the inside. So it looks really cool having a double mat. Guys, don't be afraid to use paper. That's what card making is all about, paper. So this is gonna get glued onto our brown mat. So it's a double mat on the inside. You'll see what I mean by when I say a double mat. So the white is usually what you put on the inside. Now I always mat on my inside, even any color. The only time I don't do a matte, hi Cindy Dotson, the only time I don't do a matte on the inside is if I'm using thick vanilla or thick white. So this is gonna look super cool because we're gonna have the brown espresso with the white on the inside, and then we're gonna have the brown with the white on the outside. So it kinda makes it look complete. So that's it for now. We are gonna work on our outside piece. This little mat right here, it is cut out with a stitched rectangle, and then it's the bark embossing folder is our, so you guys that have the kits, you already have that done for you. So we're just gonna set that off to the side, and we're gonna work on our mountain range now. So I gotta get a piece of paper that's bigger to put underneath, and grab your piercing mat to put underneath, or your mouse pad or whatever you have for stamping. And we're gonna start with our gray granite. Gray granite is what the mountain range is. So in that set of stamps, this is a special kind of stamp set. They're called reversible stamps. So if you look at this, wherever it's got this solid image, doesn't mean you get another stamp. It means that if you flip the stamp over, you get a solid image. So this can get flipped over, and that's what we're gonna do with these two right here. Well, it's actually just one stamp. But whenever you see this gray, that means you can flip it over, and they've designed the stamp that you can stamp using both sides. So I got the detail side up here, and I'm gonna ink up my stamp, and I'm gonna put about the middle, guys. So don't go up, don't go down. It's really like right in the middle, pretty much right in the middle. And when you stamp this, make sure you good even pressure to get all the ink to transfer to the paper. Now when you pick this up, you're gonna do one at second strength, up higher and off to the right or the left. Do you see what I did? So I've got this darker one, and then this time I went to the left. Everybody's is gonna look different. You're just building a little mountain range, okay? And in this case, it's really hard to even see it. I don't even know if you guys will see it in the light. It's just barely there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ink up again, and I'm actually gonna stamp off of my paper really lightly, and I'm gonna try it again to see if I can we're gonna go right there. There, now you can see it. You see that it makes it look like those are in the distance, okay? Now I've got that side a little higher than this side, so now I'm gonna ink up my stamp, lightly stamp off, and now I'm gonna fill in the other side over here. Okay, did you see what just happened? I put some mountains in the background there. So my first is the darkest, and then my second line of mountain range is a little bit lighter. Okay, so what happens next is we're gonna clean our stamp. So where do I have it? Right here. We're gonna clean the stamp, and we're gonna take the stamp off of the block. Now, some of you guys might not have the mountain range stamp set, right? Or mountain air. It'll be interesting what you end up putting in your picture frame. So take your stamp, you're gonna pull this off, you're gonna flip it upside down. So now you have a smooth side, okay? You definitely do not want to stamp this at full strength over the top of your pretty mountain range. So you're gonna go, because it's this dark. See that? Super dark. Now you're gonna go back over the top of your mountain range, and I went wherever that bottom line was, I just followed it because it filled it in. Otherwise it was really white. Okay, so now we're gonna ink up again and stamp off lightly. And now we're going to make a mountain range higher now. So it just created an illusion of these mountains more in the back. And I have a spot that's missing over here, but the tree is also gonna go there in a frame. So you don't have to worry about doing another one by itself up over here. Okay, so the question is, are you happy with that? Do you like the way it looks? If you like the way that looks, great. But if you feel like, oh man, I think I want a little bit more color just to fill it in, ink up, stamp off, and then maybe just put another one right there and fill it in, and it just gives it a little bit more darkness. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You're just building a little mountain range. Okay, so that's it for the gray granite. Okay, now I've got some crumb cake going on at the bottom. That crumb cake, I did that by using a blending brush, and I took Deanna Stell's advice, and I did not clean, girl, I didn't clean out my brush. It's killing me. But I thought to myself, well, we used it Monday night and we used it Wednesday, and it's primed and it's ready and it's locked and loaded and ready for tonight. But I think after, oh, and then I have class Saturday, so I'm gonna leave it until the end. So basically this is a makeup brush. 7-Up sells these, they're called blending brushes. And another set I've collected and never used. Oh my gosh, so exciting, Penny, now you can use it. Okay, so you're gonna dip in to your crumb cake, and you can see we've been using this piece of paper. It works perfect that you don't like use up the piece of paper that you're working at in class. And so you're just gonna bring the crumb cake up, and people were teasing me. I said about a pinky width away, and they said my pinky was thinner than theirs. So just know that there's a section here that I didn't put any crumb cake. So I'm gonna start from the bottom and I'm working my way up. You can put crumb cake there, but what's gonna happen is you're gonna stamp a tree line there and you're going to have a lot of green ink. Okay, so it's okay if you get a little bit of crumb cake there. It's not gonna hurt anything, but you're basically you're making the desert at the bottom of your mountain range, okay? As much or as little color as you want to add, it's completely up to you. So I just added a little bit of dirt, sand I should say, to the bottom. Okay, and don't worry about your bottom edge because you have a frame that's gonna be going around and covering. The reason you're doing this first is because if you would do your green and then this, it would smear all of your green ink around. So once you're happy with that, do a little happy dance, close up your ink. You can move this out of the way. And we're gonna work on our tree line next. Okay, with the tree line, I'm leaving my paper there. Tree line is in the garden green as well as what the inside trees were. And so this is the tree line. Again, so you can flip this one upside down and get the shadow if you want. So this tree line fits right there. So we're gonna ink this up, inky dinky do. And then what I'm trying to see is there's this line where the trees start. That's what I'm trying to line up with the mountain range. And I'm gonna stamp that. Now you can do second strength if you want by picking it up and going ever so slightly up and down or however you want. And what it does is it just creates the illusion that there's more behind, okay? So you can see it kind of lightens here with the crumb cake. I could have went up just a little higher, but I think it looks perfectly fine how it is. So stamp off. That's it for the garden green. Now our bird is the word, is up in the sky, flying high. Make sure your birds aren't upside down. And we're gonna put a few of those little dudes high up in the sky. Not too high though, because you have a frame here. So just remember, you've got some wiggle room, but I don't want to go up high like here because they'll get covered up. So you could just set your frame over the top and then stick your birds down in one of the mountain crevices there. Now, Lori P in class 2 nights ago, what was today, Thursday, last night, she made her birds in a cluster. She made like that many. She put them together like there was a whole flock of seagulls, like the band. all flying together. If you want to put more, you guys, they're your cards. If you want more or less, that's always up to you. But I was happy with one little set of birds flying. Okay, I think that's it for stamping. So what we're gonna do is I want to get stuff cleaned up so we can clean up the birds, the mountains, and now what I'm gonna remember to do, because I have class on Saturday morning, I'm gonna flip this and put it right back so then they're ready to go with the detail. And then with the trees, this is the other one, like the moon, I think there's like 5 or so stamps in this that you can take them off and flip them upside down and use the more solid image. Now they don't line up exactly. They are close, but they don't line up exactly. Okay, so let's get this out of here. This. Oh, and I think I forgot to clean these from earlier. So you guys, part of stamping is cleaning, and I always joke, Brandon likes it when he sees me cleaning these stamps when he's watching. So, okay, now I think we're good on the cleaning. So let's move this over here, over here. So let's get this put together. Now, I did notice in class that everybody did their mountain range different, and that's how it works. Some people went lower, some people went higher, and if that happens, you have a little wiggle room with this. I made this piece of white big enough that you could always cut off if you needed. So like, let's say I want this to go like this, okay? I want to see it like that. What I can do is I can cut this white part off. That's okay. So how I would prep for this is flip this over, and these foam strips are amazing to use for a card like this because you can just put strips all the way around. If you want to use your regular dimensionals, that works too, but I definitely popped up the frame so it made it look like a portrait. So I'm going to take and put one here and one here, and then we're going to get 2 shorty doo-wops here for, oh man, haha, I gotta go a little crooked. I cut it just a hair long, but that one will fit there. And just because I want to, I'm gonna put one more right over there. Okay, so these foam strips were just a hair higher than regular dimensionals, but that's okay. So what we're doing is we're gonna attach this to our white piece. I would do that versus attaching the white piece. It's like you could glue this onto here, but then you might not be happy with where the frame sits. So the main goal is that you're happy with where the frame sits. So you're gonna eyeball this until you get this where you want it. Now you could go this way, you guys have a little wiggle room. So I wanna see more crumb cake on the bottom. So I stamp my mountains a little higher. So I'm gonna go right there. I think it's straight. Now you're wondering, oh, I got this extra piece here. It's okay, just cut it off. Grab your paper scissors, and I would cut it a little bit underneath the mat so you don't see. Okay, so when the card's flat, you won't see that. You don't care that it's crooked. And now what's gonna happen is you're gonna put your liquid glue or whatever glue you like to use behind the white, and now put that onto your card front. Oh, and if you're over on the left or the right, you could also trim that. So like, let's say you need to schnitz off a little bit right there, you could do that. Now you need to just get this wiggled on here so that it's straight. And if you use liquid glue, you got a little wiggle room. Okay, see, that's it. You're like, that was a lot of work. Okay, you're not done yet though. We have our little thank you. So I used a sentiment that was a little bit shorter than the piece that I gave you. So you could just, if you want it, take your scissors and snip off the ends if you want to make it a little shorter, no problem. You could have also done like the diagonals on the ends if you like. We're gonna put that guy down here. So what I'm gonna do is put a little bit of liquid glue along the bottom edge. The top, I don't want it because it's going to be slightly overhanging. And so we're going to go just like that. And now our tree. Everybody asks, how do you glue the tree down? So there's not a lot of surface area to put the tree. And I wanted to make sure that at the top, there's plenty of glue, and actually along the side, I'm just catching it a little bit with the liquid glue. So this top part, definitely get some up there. And then your stem, you want to make sure you get some there. And now this left side, you could get some glue over there. And you're not going to want to put a lot of glue elsewhere because it'll go flat on the card. So let's just do this, and we're going to, and the spine of the tree is where I'm trying to eyeball up, and it's basically going to stick to the left side here and not so much the right side, because that has a lot of height there, and that's quite all right. Just be careful putting the card into your envelope so it doesn't catch. That's it. If you guys feel like you want to embellish, you're more than welcome to use whatever you have. But when you flip this open, isn't it cool to see the brown and the white? So the espresso and the basic white on the inside. Beautiful thank you card. So, yay, I'm so happy you guys like it. Yay, woo. Okay. So we went from hard to middle, and now we've got an easier card. Are you ready for the last card, guys? Okay, so we got these two done. So these cards were, I loved them because they were very different in terms of all of them they were all different. We've got a fun card with the spinner. We've got a more masculine card. And then the last card it had the flowers. So it could be a feminine card. And I always need sympathy cards. And so I had that in mind when I did this last. So we've got a great little collection here of different types of cards for the August monthly class. So this guy, what did I use? I pulled in the positive thoughts. Oh, Jean loves the mountain air card. Thank you. You guys like it. Awesome. Positive thoughts came out in the spring catalog of not this year, but last year. And then what they did is they brought out complimentary dies to it. And then they rolled them both over in there in the annual catalog now. So everything came from this collection except for the sentiment, which you guys could pull in any sentiment. This is the peaceful moments where the deepest sympathy, happy birthday, thank you, very versatile. But there's a stitched greenery die here. Now you guys in the class that have these kits, you get to see it, touch it, feel it. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. It's this monstrous die that it doesn't cut anything. It just imprints, and it like puts stitching of leaves. Okay, so that was used on the raspberry piece, and I'll pull mine out to show it to you. But I pulled in the feather, I pulled in these two foliages and this butterfly, and then this outline right here. Okay, so that's what got used with this stamp set. You guys got a couple pearls, so don't lose them. There's like I put 3 pearls in your kit, so make sure to grab them out. The colors that we're using are soft succulent, evening evergreen, and rich raspberry. The colors go so good together. So raspberry for the flower, the sentiment is in evening evergreen, and our foliage is in soft succulent. I think I said that. Evening evergreen, soft succulent. Okay, so be careful in your kit. You have these little pieces, these little bits and parts. Just be careful. You also have in your kit, you'll have, this is the flower die cut. I promise you, you're gonna have a hard time figuring out how to stamp that little thing. So you also have in your kit a white piece that you could stamp and then die cut or fussy cut. I gave you both. I just didn't know if you wanted to try stamping on that. So what do we have in our kits? So you guys, I did my magic of TV, I guess. On this one, I didn't mean to, but I did apparently. I looked at the kit, I'm like, oh, I did all my stamping ahead of time. So in your kit, you have your evening evergreen 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4, just like the other 2 bases. Burnish your edge. Okay. You have your white inside, so it's 4 by 5 1/4. That gets put on the inside. So the outside, here it is, guys. Look at this. Doesn't that look cool? So that's what the stitched greenery does. You cut the size that you want, and then you die cut it. And it makes it really rumply. That's the back side. And then the soft, smooth, rolled side is the front. And that is your traditional mat 4 by 5 1/4. And again, this might be one, so in class last night, somebody had theirs slightly crooked. Out of everybody, out of like 44 kits, that was the only one that somebody came to me and it was crooked. So just saying that you guys might have that. You also have this white. So yours is going to be white like this. It has no stamping on it. But this is from that Positive Earth. It's called Nature's Thoughts. That's stitching on the outside there. So your piece is stitched. It's white. It's blank. You're going to have to stamp. And I'm going to show you how I stamped mine. There's a mat of soft succulent that's just slightly a little bit bigger. You have a pearlescent feather. So that's that pearlescent paper that was from the spring catalog. You have 2 of these little foliages that are die cut. You have a little bitsy baby butterfly. So pop out anything that needs to get popped out on that one. And then we mentioned that you have a piece that's white like this that you're going to need to stamp, or you have a piece of like a scrap that you can stamp whatever. So if you don't have this exact set, you could get something similar. All right, so I stamped a bunch, you guys. Okay, let me show you how I stamped it though, so that you're not wondering. So you have this white piece like this. I'll stamp the back so that you can see how I did it. The first thing I did is I took the soft succulent, and what it is it's first strength, second strength, meaning stamp up, go first strength, second strength, and then second strength. That's what I did. First, second, second. So I have it back here, first, second, second. That's it for this. Now, in class, I saw Jill Butzine. She did her inside where she put this on the inside and then put the flower kind of nestled in it. And that looks super cool too. So I would do that at second strength and maybe put that over here in the bottom corner if you like, or do your envelope. And then for you guys, you're gonna have to do your flower. It's rich razzleberry. So you could put that like right in the corner like that. See, that looks cool. Otherwise, you could just do a flower by itself. Either way works. And then you have your scrap that you're gonna have to stamp a flower and die cut or something else in the middle here. You guys might not even make this, for you guys at home, you might not even put flowers on your card. You might be something different. Second generation stamping, yep. Some people call it first strength, second strength. Some say generation, yep, first generation, second generation. That works too. All means the same thing. Stamping off, that means second strength too, or at third strength. So your sentiment then is evening evergreen or some sort of green. And you can open that up, and we did it as a sympathy card. So again, I'm stamping the back here just so you can see how I did it. So you got with sympathy, and like there I stamped it up a little higher. Here it's a little bit lower. Either one works. And then on the inside, there's a sentiment that says hugs, prayers, love. So we could definitely do that as well on ours. So whoever gets this for their card is getting a sympathy card, because that's how I did it versus doing a thank you. Okay, you guys, this is our easy card. Don't you like it how we got warmed up to it? So we've got the green is done and those are done. Now, set those over there, and it's just a little bit of assembly action. So I always try to do my best work on the smooth side, and then the back is that rough side. So we're gonna go ahead and adhere our 2 white pieces. So you guys know I like to do multi-glues. So get them prepped and ready here. So this one's gonna go onto the soft succulent layer. Just get that nice and lined up. And then this one is our inside, our card. The evening evergreen is one of my favorite colors. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's green. I don't mind green, but I don't love green, but it goes with so many colors. You have your stitched greenery. Put a little adhesive on that. And that goes on our outside. Again, you guys check it to make sure it's straight and no crookedness on it. And that goes there. This one I popped up with dimensionals. So let's grab a sheet of them. We're gonna just I usually use about 6 on a size of paper this big. Like that. We'll leave them out because we're gonna use the flower. Okay. This is going to get centered on our card, like so. Now we have these pieces left. So what I would recommend doing is getting a scratch paper and putting these 3 down so that you can stella them. It'll be easier to stella them. I'm trying to feel for the top so that there's a smooth side, which I call the top, and then the rough side is the bottom. It works better to stella these when they're not on your card because you don't get the stella all over your card. You're just getting it on those pieces. Okay, so this is how I did it. I put 2 dimensionals on the back of the flower, and this is gonna go right about here, and our feather kind of gets tucked in like that. Okay, so I generally like to, I don't like to make the thing and then put it down. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna pick these off because I just tested my feather will be able to sneak in here. So I've got this like that. And now you see my feather's not loose, but what's gonna happen is that's gonna come in at the side here. And I'm gonna put a dimensional at the tip. And then I'm gonna use a glue dot. I wanna say at the top, but it's not. I guess at the bottom. And now we can sneak that in here. And that's gonna come out the side. And then you've got this little bit bigger of the 2 foliages. That one I have on the bottom. And I'm just gonna put a glue dot right at the base of it. And I'm gonna sneak that in here. Let's see how I wanna do it. I'm gonna sneak him like that. And then this little dude also has a glue dot. Put it right at the stem. And then he's gonna tuck in up here, okay? And your butterfly, no glue dot, unless you roll it really small. What I like to do is just put a little bit of liquid glue right on the middle of its body. Not too much that it sneaks out though. And I like to fold the wings up to make it look like it's fluttering in the wind. Oh, so that one's facing that way. I mean, you can put your butterfly however you want. But I love it when the wings have like dimension and height to them. Okay, and you guys have 3 pearls in your kit. So there's a big one. Oh, he's on the outside. Does that ever happen to you? Get random pearls sneaking everywhere? Sneaking everywhere. I got a pearl there. And we're gonna put a pearl in the middle of the butterfly. And then you guys, I gave you a 3rd one because of odd numbers with floral arrangements. I put 2 on mine because I just like the 2 like this, but I gave you a 3rd one. So you can choose to use it on this card or you can use it for something else. Completely up to you. The other thing, so this, if you want some more security under this guy, you could go ahead and sneak 1 more dimensional on the other end, but I waited to do that until I got my feather in there and my greenery because now that can squish that down and make it secure. Okay, I think that, wasn't that easy? But it's so beautiful. This card is one of those stunning, easy cards that, like, I would be happy to get that. All right, let's pull them all back in so we can see what we all made tonight. We've got our spinner card. We've got our positive thoughts or sympathy card. And then we've got the thank you with mountain air. So do you guys have a favorite? I always like to ask, which one do you like the best? Which one did you enjoy? So it's funny because sometimes people say, well, I really enjoyed making that one, but I think I like the way this other one looked better. So I think that I like them all. So if you're curious, so that's the August class. One of the cards I have ready here for next month's class, so for the September monthly class, you guys, we're actually going to be using those new cloche domes or whatever they're called. And we're going to be baking some cherry pie. That's what we're going to do here. So this is for the September monthly class. We're going to use the shaker dome with a pie on the inside if you guys have the pie. Otherwise, you'll figure out something else to put on your inside. So that's one of them. And I can show you another card too. That's for next month. Let's see here. This is a September monthly card. So it's a nice fallsy card. We're gonna be using some of the gorgeous leaves with the Harvest Meadow paper. You could make it into a Thanksgiving card if you wanted, but that is one of the cards for September. So I've already got them lined up, ready to go. So now I just have to take pictures of them, and the other card's done. It's where? Oh, hang tight. I will show you the third card. Hang on. This is the third card for next month. So using that Welcoming Wood stamp set, some of the cork paper, the craft paper, and you guys, we're gonna pull out the blending brushes again. Now, if you don't have the stamp set, you're gonna get a piece of paper and you can put whatever you want on it, but now you saw it. Now you guys see what's coming up for the September monthly class. I got them all ready to go. So Ruth said the spinner card with the sympathy card is so beautiful. Yes, thank you. That's exactly what people were saying. They enjoyed the spinner card. The colors were fresh and just positive and bright and upbeat. So cool. Okay, you guys, we did it. An hour and 40 minutes. We got our 3 cards. Sign up. Will you be showing all 3 cards before you sign off? Yep, I can do that again. I think that, Jewel, you were asking about these 3 cards. So those are the 3 cards for August. Now, Jewel, were you asking about the September cards? Or because if you were asking about September, I can pull those in really quick too. But this was all 3 for the class we just did tonight. So, okay, we've got that done. So what do we have to do? We have to do our announcement of who the winners. I have 8 cards, you guys, from the month of July. My tidings and trimmings class was the end of July, and so was Let's Just Stamp. So I'm going to do the announcement of those, and we're also going to do a random number generator for the, so it's based off of somebody who placed an order, because when you guys place orders, I get host credit, and I use that host credit to get the materials and to get extra stuff for class. And I have a sale-a-bration set that I'm going to be giving away because I got that when I put orders together and got them in. So you guys, you know what I'm doing? I'm cleaning my stamps really quick so that they're done. Hi, Cheryl Thomas. Okay. All right. So Jewel's on the way to the beach. I love it. Okay, cool. So, you guys, we need a drum roll. Da-da-da, right? Okay, so I'm going to flip this down and we're going to do the Christmas cards first. So this was the tidings and the trimmings. I don't have any kits left of this. They were all gone. But drum roll. It is winner, winner, chicken dinner. Mo Stites, you are the lucky winner of the star card. Congratulations. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Debbie Standuffer, you are the winner of the May Your Days Be Merry and Bright card. Debbie, I don't have your contact information, so if you want me to send the card, I just need your address. Just message it to me, to my email. This one is Alice Somsel, S-O-M-S-E-L. You were the winner of our stockings card. So Alice, I don't have your contact information. Drum roll is Kathy First, F-U-E-R-S-T. Kathy, you were the winner of the Noel card. So those were the tidings and the trimmings. Okay, so let's just stamp. This was the pair of cards where they made one stamp, but then it made 2 cards. Winner, winner. We have Linda Hodge. Girl, you won. Yay. Your name was drawn. Linda, I have your information. This card goes to Dar McCarthy. Congratulations, Dar. You're the winner of that card. Thank you. This was our little fun fold that opened like this. You guys, the video to make this set of cards and this set of cards are out on the Cards by Christine Facebook page or YouTube. This one goes to Judy Emma. Woo, Judy. So I have all these 3 girls' information. Let's see who the last one was. I don't remember. Judy Kruger. Woohoo! Congratulations. So I have all your addresses, and I think it was these 3 gals, Alice and Debbie and Kathy. So there you go, guys. Congratulations to all those lucky winners of these beautiful cards. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your love and support. Okay. And we have the textures and the frames. It's not, I put the in front of a lot of things. So what I did for the monthly class here, this is where my class sent it to you guys. I put a number next to everybody who placed an order. And so I'm going to pull my phone out. You guys can watch me do it. There were 7 people that placed orders to get this class for free, and random number generator. We're going to put 7 in here. It's not what I wanted to do. Hang on. It's not what I wanted, but let's see here. We're going to start this way. So random. Thanks everybody for congratulating all the winners. Woohoo. Random number generator. So we've got out of 7. We're going to generate a number, and then I'll go see who it is. Number 2. Let's go. Let's get you guys back here before I before I go back. So, now I'm going to have a hard time finding it a bit. Hang on. You got to scroll down through all this stuff, and then that's where the video appears right there. Okay. So it was number 2. Number 2. Angelica Newton. Oh my gosh, girl. You were one lucky lady, because Angela won the door prize for the tidings and the trimmings class. And I want to say she won something. She was Mystery Night winner too for July. You better go buy yourself a lottery ticket. So congratulations, Angela. Woohoo. Okay. The other thing too, just as a reminder, if you guys didn't hear it in the beginning, when you go to place an order through me to get a class for free, you got to get that host code on there. If you don't get the host code on there, I only get up to 10 a month to be able to call Stampin' Up! To have them add it. And if you don't get the host code on the order, then the card class isn't for free. And I'll send you a thank you card with a little baby gift. But I want you guys to get the card kits because it's so much fun having you stamp with me for class. And with a $50 order, not only do you get a class for free, but you get your name on the board. And so don't worry about having to give me a number, because it's a lot to go back and forth to figure out what number you want. So I just randomly pick numbers. So like Leslie McMinn won on number 18. I put her on that square because that was an open square when her order came through, and she won. So just trust that I will get your names on the board if you place orders with me. So did I forget anything? I always ask that at the end because I feel like I always forget something. I'm going to work on the newsletter now, guys. It's 7:45 here in Wisconsin, and so I plan to work on that for a bit, and I'll get that newsletter out either tonight or first thing tomorrow morning so that you have some reading enjoyment tomorrow and the weekend. All right. If you guys need anything, don't hesitate to reach out or ask. I'm always here to help with your crafting needs. So, all right, lots of sunshine and love and hugs to you guys. We'll see you later. Have a good weekend. I will see you tomorrow night at 5:30 Central, though. So in case you don't see me tomorrow, have a good weekend. Bye, guys. Good night.